Hi everybody. Happy Sunday on Ambiguity. This is Taylor. I think you all know that at this point. I'm just repeating it. Um, this week's topic is just being non-binary or non-binary if you don't identify as that. I identify as transmasculine, which I don't even know if that falls into non-binary. I think it's self-defined whether you identify as non-binary. Um, Definitively, I think it just means not binary, so not male nor female. It's in the middle or not even, but it totally depends on the person that uses it. So, like, how I think of non binary is going to be different from someone else's, or even someone else on the channel might have a different view than I do on non binary. That's totally cool. It's an umbrella term, so, like, it encompasses a bunch of other terms, but also those terms can be used towards transgender, and some people say transgender is an umbrella term for non-binary. But there are non-binary people who don't want to be called trans, and trans people who don't want to be called. Trans people who don't conform to the male or female that don't want to be known as binary, non-binary. There are agender people that don't want to be known as non-binary. It's all in like identity-wise. Um, like being trans-mask and not identifying as male. That's something that I'm in kind of that situation. So, I guess in my mindset, I kind of do fall into non binary because I don't identify as binary gender wise. I just am masculine presenting. So, like, that links to societal views of men and masculinity and the male gender. So, like, I don't identify with that binary, but also I'm like very sure of how I present myself and how I look. But also, I'm like not afraid to be feminine at times, which is weird, and I'm like working with it. But I mean, with this beard, you're gonna be assumed as a dude, which is societal expectations and societal constructs of gender and how gender is supposed to be presented. Um, Also, trying to think, I kind of thought of this beforehand, and I've been kind of going off in tangents. Um, Also, the whole concept of being non-binary and transitioning medically is something that is commonly discussed in like identification wise how there isn't really an option, but also there are some doctors who don't understand the fact that non-binary is a thing, and it makes access to hormones and surgery is very difficult. But also on top of that, it might not be validating to a person to start hormones and get top surgery or bottom surgery or try to masculinize yourself or feminize yourself, because it's just strictly, why do we need these things to conform to a gender identity that we don't identify as? I don't identify as. I'm sorry. I'm gonna try and use I statements here because that's assumption if I don't. Um, but yeah, presenting yourself a certain way and being comfortable in your own skin is something that is a concept that I, as a non-binary person, am working with, because strictly the way I present myself, it comes off as a man. Like, I walk into a rest hall and I hold the door for someone. They're like, "Thanks, bro. Thanks, man." And I think that really shows like style expectations of I have a beard, I look masculine, I'm a man, and that's how gender terms come. Like, I'm not comfortable with gender terms as much, just because I don't associate myself with them. So, like, that's one thing. Um, but also my experience is one thing, and like other people are going to say other things. Like throughout this like entire like 4 minute video so far, I've been like, oh yeah. I start off being like, I'm not non-binary, and as I'm talking it out, I'm like, as a non-binary person. So, like, my conception of my own gender identity doesn't really link to the term non-binary. I just say it because it's an encompassing term and it works. And if I say transmasculine, they'll be like, "Oh, what is that?" I'm like, "I'm not binary, but I'm masculine presenting." And they're like, oh, "Okay, so like, that falls non-binary." But that's not. I don't know. Gender is weird. Gender identity is weird, and pronouns are weird, and societal expectations for pronouns are weird, and like group gendering is weird. You're gonna hear me say so many things that are weird about gender. I'm just sliding up. But yeah, it's this could be a very long talk about being on hormones as a non-binary person or getting top surgery as a non-binary person. because that associates that you're trying to become something or become another gender or the other binary gender, I should say. So that on its own is kind of like constructed to be a world where you're like, oh, I'm doing this, so this means I'm a man. But gender is constructed to be one or the other, and we're breaking it down, like destroying that binary mindset, binary construct, which I think is super cool. There are more people that are coming out as non-binary than there are as trans, which I think is interesting. There is someone, I'm trying to think. I've been reading a lot of articles about people coming out as non-binary, which is really interesting, and I'm glad that's getting necessary media attention instead of the typical trans-binary story, because I feel like that is a constructed concept, and I feel like non-binary people and like the stories non-binary people need to highlight in this concept in day and age, where folks assume that it's either one or the other when there's a billion other things in the middle that are self-defined, and you can define them yourself, and that's your own personal definition, and your friend's not going to have the same one as you, or maybe they might, you never know. But yeah, I guess I'm gonna round that out. Updates wise, I don't have anything. I'm gonna be, let me check my calendar. Okay, so I'm gonna be 16 months on testosterone on Saturday. So I'm gonna be 16 months on testosterone by the time this posts. Other than that, no major updates. I hope you all are doing well. I will see you next week. Have a good week. Bye.